Hello children, welcome to grade 6 mathematics lesson. Today we are going to discuss about the fourth lesson, that is time. I am Himashi Gamage from Anandapalika Vidyalaya Colombo 10. Today I am going to teach you the lesson. Before moving to the lesson, we'll see what you are going to learn after studying this lesson. By studying this lesson, you will be able to identify the units of measuring time, identify the relationship between different units of measuring time, find the time taken for an activity, express the time in terms of the 24-hour clock, write the date in the standard form. First of all, we'll see how to read the time in 12-hour clock correctly. So this is our 12-hour clock. So there I have mentioned the hour hand, second hand and minute hand. So the shortest hand is the hour hand. The narrow hand in red is the second hand. Here the gap between these two small lines is always 1 unit. Therefore we can say it takes 1 second for the second hand to go from one small line to the next small line. At the same time, we can say it takes 1 minute for the minute hand to go from one small line to the next small line. In this figure, I have mentioned second hand using blue color. Just look at the second hand. See what's going to happen here. The second hand is moving, isn't that so? Previously, I have mentioned that when the second hand moves from one small line to the next small line, that means 1 second has passed. Now, this second hand has passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small lines. That means we can say 5 seconds have passed. Now, can you read the time which is mentioned there in this clock correctly? We'll see. Where is the hour hand? That is near 1. Then what about the minutes hand? That is near 12. So now we'll have a look at the seconds hand. How many smaller lines has it passed already? It has passed 12 small lines. Therefore, it is 12 seconds past 1. Now we'll move on to another example. Can you read the time which is mentioned in this clock correctly? We'll see. Now where is our hour hand? That is near 1. So what about the minutes hand? That is near 3. That means the minute hand has passed 15 smaller lines. Therefore, we can consider it as 15 minutes. Then we'll have a look at the seconds hand. The second hand is there near 5. That means it has passed 25 smaller lines. Therefore, we have to consider it as 25 seconds. So, how to write the time correctly? We'll see. Now, the time which is mentioned in this clock is 15 minutes, 25 seconds past 1. We'll consider another example. Now, have a look at this clock. Now, the hour hand is near 8. But still it has not completely gone to 8. Now where is the minute hand? It's near 9. That means it has passed 45 small lines. So we can consider it as 45 minutes. Then we'll have a look at the second hand. Second hand is near 2. That means it has passed 10 small lines. So we can consider it as 10 seconds. So we can read the time as 45 minutes, 10 seconds past 7. Why is it 7? Still, it has not gone for 8. Still, the hour hand is going from 7 to 8. Therefore, we have to consider it as 45 minutes, 10 seconds past 7. Next, we are going to consider about antimeridium and postmeridium. We usually mention antimeridium as AM and postmeridium as PM. Now have a look at these two figures. Now, in the first figure, some students are going to school. So we can say the time a child goes to school is 7 AM. So 7 o'clock is mentioned in that clock. So in the second figure, we can see a child is studying. He is using a lamp. Therefore, most probably it's in the evening. Isn't that so? So in the clock, once again, we can see 7 o'clock is mentioned there. So we can say the time a child is studying is 7 p.m. Although the same time is mentioned in both clocks, first incident is an incident which has happened in the morning. Therefore, we mention it as 7 a.m. The second incident which has happened in the evening, therefore, we mention it as 7 p.m. We'll move on to some more examples. Have a look at this figure. Some students are enjoying their interval, isn't that so? So the interval is at 10:20 a.m. So we'll have a look at the next figure. Some students are leaving school. The school is closed for the day. Therefore, we can say school ends at 1:30 p.m. Now we are going to discuss about some important things that should be there in your mind. So, when all three hands of a clock point at 12 during the night time, the time is 12 midnight. But it differs when it comes to daytime. So, when all three arms of a clock point at 12 during the daytime, the time is 12 noon. Previously, it was 12 midnight when it's the night time. Since this is the daytime, now it's 12 noon. Therefore, we can say the 12-hour time period between 12 midnight and 12 noon is known as antimeridium. That means before midday. At the same time, the 12-hour time period between 12 noon and 12 midnight is known as post-meridian, that is after midday. Next, we are going to learn how to read the time on a 24-hour clock. In a 24-hour clock, the time is written in the standard form as hours, minutes, then seconds. So, in between hours and minutes, you have to put a colon. In between minutes and seconds also, you have to put a colon. So, always hours should be written in 2 digits. Minutes also should be written in 2 digits. And seconds also should be written in 2 digits. When reading the time on a 24-hour clock, we don't consider about antimeridium and postmeridium. In 12-hour clock, the same time was repeated twice in a day. Therefore, we had to consider about antimeridium and postmeridium. But in 24-hour clock, the time is simply taken up to 24 hours. Therefore, one time does not repeat twice in a day. So it's really easy for us to read the time on a 24-hour clock. So have a look at this table. Here I have mentioned the same time in the 2 different ways. That means the time according to the 12-hour clock and then the time according to the 24-hour clock. So when we consider about 7:30 a.m., that means 7:30 antimeridian, you can write it in 24-hour clock time. It is 07:30. So you have to mention colon in between hours and minutes. Next one, 10:30 a.m. Once again, since it's antimeridium, you need not to change the value. Time is the same. So it is 10:30 in 12-hour clock as well. So when it comes to 1:30 p.m., when we consider about the time which is given in post-meridium, you have to obviously change it when it comes to 24-hour clock. So 1:30 p.m. becomes 13:30 in 24-hour clock. Next, 11:05 p.m. Once again, it's under post-meridium. Therefore, we have to change the time. So it becomes 23:05. Next, we are going to represent the date in standard form. So when writing the date in standard form, 4 digits should be used to represent the year, 2 digits to represent the month, and 2 digits to represent the day. So it should be written like this. First year, dash, then the month, dash, then the day. So for year, you should mention 4 digits. For month, you should mention 2 digits. The day, you have to mention in 2 digits. So we'll go for an example. The 1st of May 2019 is represented in International Standard Form as 2019-05-01. When you see the national flag, what comes to your mind? Our national day, isn't that so? So when is it? The 4th of February 1948. So we are going to represent it in International Standard Form as 1948-02-04. Next, we are going to discuss about units of measuring time. So what are the units you already know? See whether you know these units. Seconds, minutes, hours and days. You already know these units of measuring time. Isn't that so? So what is the relationship between these units? We'll see. 60 seconds equals 1 minute. 60 minutes equals 1 hour. 24 hours equals 1 day. Next, we are going to discuss about representing time given in minutes in terms of seconds. So, 1 minute means 60 seconds. Therefore, when we want to find 2 minutes in seconds, we have to multiply 60 seconds by 2. So, it's equals to 120 seconds. So, when we want to find 3 minutes in seconds, 60 seconds should be multiplied by 3. So the answer is 180 seconds. So 4 minutes in seconds, you can multiply 60 seconds by 4. So the answer is 240 seconds. Therefore, we can come to a conclusion. To represent the time given in minutes in terms of seconds, the given number of minutes needs to be multiplied by 60. If the time is given in seconds, how to write it in terms of minutes? Now we are going to have a look at that. So representing the time given in seconds in terms of minutes. So we know that 60 seconds is equals to 1 minute. Therefore, if 120 seconds are given, you can divide 120 seconds by 60. Then you can get the answer as 2 minutes. That means in 120 seconds, you have got 2 minutes. So if you get 180 seconds, you can divide 180 seconds by 60. So the answer is 3 minutes. That means in 180 seconds, you have got 3 minutes. So once again, we can come to a conclusion as to represent the time given in seconds in terms of minutes, the given number of seconds need to be divided by 60. We'll go for another example. Express 150 seconds in minutes and seconds. So what should we do? We have to divide 150 by 60, isn't it so? So I'm going to use the long divisional method. So 150 divided by 60, we have got two 60s inside 150. So 2 into 60 is 120, 30 remains. So I can say 150 seconds can be expressed in minutes and seconds as 2 minutes 30 seconds. Next, we are going to discuss about representing time given in hours in terms of minutes. So we know that 1 hour means 60 minutes. Therefore, we can say 2 hours means 60 minutes multiplied by 2, that is 120 minutes. If we want to find the number of minutes in 3 hours, we have to multiply 60 minutes by 3. So that is 180 minutes. So after that also we can come to a conclusion as to represent the time given in hours in terms of minutes, the given number of hours needs to be multiplied by 60. If the time is given in minutes, how to write it in terms of hours? That is what we are going to find now. So we know that 60 minutes means 1 hour. So if we want to find how many hours are there in 120 minutes, what should we do? We have to divide 120 minutes by 60. So we can get the answer as 2 hours. So how many hours are there in 180 minutes? You can simply divide 180 minutes by 60. So you can go for the answer. It's 3 hours. So once again, we can come to a conclusion as to represent the time given in minutes in terms of hours, the given number of minutes needs to be divided by 60. Let's move on to another example. Express 200 minutes in hours and minutes. So how to find the answer for this? Once again, I'm going to divide 200 minutes by 60. So I'm going to use the long divisional method here. 200 divided by 60. So for 200, I have got 3 60s. Therefore, 60 into 3 is 180. 20 remains. So I can easily go for an answer. 3 hours, 20 minutes are there in 200 minutes. If the time is given in days, how to write it in terms of hours? We are going to learn that now. So we know that 1 day means 24 hours. That means for 2 days, how many hours are there? How to find that? 24 hours should be multiplied by 2. So that is 48 hours. Then for 3 days, you can easily find as 24 hours multiplied by 3. So the answer is 72 hours. So we can get a conclusion as to represent the days in hours, the given number of days should be multiplied by 24. Next, we'll learn about representing the time given in hours in terms of days. So we already know that 24 hours means 1 day. So for 48 hours, how many days are there? How to find that? 48 hours should be multiplied by 24. So you can go for the answer as 2 days. Next, for 72 hours, how many days are there? Once again, you have to divide 72 hours by 24. You can get the answer as 3 days. So once again, you can get a conclusion as to represent a time given in hours in terms of days, the given number of hours need to be divided by 24. Next, I'm going to represent all the relationships between units of measuring time that we have discussed today in one figure. Now have a look at this. If the time is given in days and if you want it in terms of hours, you can simply multiply the number of days by 24. So if the time is given in hours and you want it in terms of minutes, you can simply multiply the number of hours in 60. So if the time is given in minutes and you want to convert it into seconds, you can simply multiply the number of minutes by 60. So we'll consider about the other way around also. So if the time is given in seconds and you want to convert it into minutes, you can simply divide it by 60. So if the time is given in minutes and you want it in terms of hours, you can simply divide the minutes by 60. So if the time is given in hours and you want it in terms of days, you can simply divide the number of hours by 24. It's easy, isn't that so? Using this method, you can convert days into hours, hours into minutes, minutes into seconds, and once again, seconds into minutes, minutes into hours, and hours into days easily. Now we'll discuss about addition based on time. So first of all, we'll have a look at the first example. 5 minutes 20 seconds plus 2 minutes 18 seconds. So first of all, we'll have to look at the seconds column. We have to start with that. So 20 plus 18 is 38. Since 38 is less than 60, we can have 38 under seconds column. Therefore, we'll move on to minutes column. 5 plus 2 is 7. Therefore, the answer is 7 minutes 38 seconds. So, we'll move on to the second example, that is 8 minutes 35 seconds plus 3 minutes 41 seconds. So, once again, we'll start with the seconds column. 35 plus 41 is 76. So can we have 76 under seconds column? No, isn't that so? Since we have got a minutes column, we have to separate 60 from this 76 and give it to minutes column. How many 60s are there inside 76? We have got only 160 there. Therefore, we'll separate it. That means I'm going to subtract that 60 from 76. So 76 minus 60 is 16. So we can have that 16 under seconds column, and I'm going to give the 60 seconds to minutes column. So 60 second becomes 1 minute in minutes column. So now we'll move on to the minutes column. We'll add all the minutes there. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. Therefore, we can simply go for the answer as 12 minutes 16 seconds. We'll move on to some more examples. This time we are going to consider about hours and minutes. So once again, we have to keep in mind that 60 minutes means 1 hour. Right. We'll move on to the first question under that. So 5 hours 20 minutes plus 2 hours 18 minutes. So once again, we are going to start with minutes column. 20 plus 18 is 38. Since 38 is less than 60, I can keep that under minutes column. So in hours column, 5 plus 2 is 7. Therefore, the answer is 7 hours 38 minutes. So we'll move on to the second example under hours and minutes. So once again we have to start the question with the smaller unit. So that is minutes. So first of all we have to add 50 and 34 together. 50 plus 34 is 84. So can I write 84 under minutes column? No, isn't that so? Since I have got the hour column, I have to separate 60 minutes from minutes column and send it to hour column. Therefore, inside 84, I have got one group of 60, one set of 60. Therefore, I have to separate it. That means I have to subtract that 60 from 84. Only 24 remains. So, I can mention this 24 under minutes column. So, this remaining amount is 60 minutes. I can send that 60 minutes to hours column. So 60 minutes becomes 1 hour in hours column. Therefore, we'll add the values in hours column. 1 plus 6 plus 2, that is 9. Therefore, we can easily go for the answer 9 hours 24 minutes. We'll consider about another example. This time it's about days and hours. So first of all, you have to keep in mind that 24 hours means one day. This time it's not the relationship of 60, it's 24 here. So you have to keep that in mind. So one day, 12 hours plus 2 days, 5 hours. So we'll start with hours column. So 12 plus 5 is 17. Since it's less than 24, we can keep 17 under hours column. So in days column, 1 plus 2 is 3. Therefore, the answer is 3 days, 17 hours. So in the next example, 2 days 18 hours plus 1 day 16 hours. So first of all, we have to start with the hour column. So in hours column, we have got 18 and 16 to be added. So 18 plus 16 is 34. So can we keep 34 under hours column? No, because if we get a group of 24, we have to transfer it to days column. So I have to separate 24 from 34. So 34 minus 24 is 10. So I'm going to keep 10 under hours column. So I can write 10 under hours column. The 24 is moved towards the days column. 24 means one day. So we'll move it to days column. So altogether under days column we have got 1 plus 2 plus 1. So that is 4. So we can easily go for the answer as 4 days, 10 hours. Then we'll discuss about subtraction based on time. So we'll go for some examples. 7 days, 18 hours minus 2 days, 10 hours. So once again, for a day, we have got 24 hours. So we'll start with hours column. 18 minus 10 is 8. Then we'll move on to days column. 7 minus 2 is 5. So we can easily get the answer as 5 days, 8 hours. So we'll move on to another example. 5 days, 10 hours minus 1 day, 12 hours. So we'll move on to the hours column. So it is 10 minus 12. So can we subtract 12 from 10? No, isn't that so? Therefore, we have to ask 1 from days column. So there in days column we have got 5. So I'm taking 1 day from days column towards the hours column. Then it becomes 24 hours in hours column. So we already got 10 hours. So we have to add these two together. 24 plus 10 is 34. So now we have to subtract 12 hours from 34 hours. So 34 minus 12 is 22. Therefore, we can mention it there under hours column, that is 22. Now in days column we have got only 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So the answer is 3 days 22 hours. Elapsed time. So have you gone through this word before? Elapsed time in sense the time which is taken to do a certain activity. So have a look at this figure. Two children are playing. So we are going to find the time taken for them to play. So they have started playing at 3 p.m. and they have end playing at 3:50 p.m. So we are going to find the elapsed time now. They have started at 3 p.m. and they have end at 3:50 p.m. Now we can say the elapsed time is 50 minutes. That means they have taken 50 minutes to play. So we'll move on to another example. Have a look at this figure. Now this is Sadev. He is helping his mother to water some plants. So he has started this work at 4:25 p.m. and they have finished the work at 5:15 p.m. So I need to find the elapsed time. Actually, elapsed time in sense the difference between the end time and the starting time of a certain work. So they have started it at 4:25 p.m. and they have ended it at 5:15 p.m. Therefore, I can say Sadev has helped his mother for how many minutes? 50 minutes. Now this is Mrs. Pereira. He has been to the market to buy some goods. So she has started buying goods at 2 p.m. and she has ended her work at 3:30 p.m. So now we are going to find the elapsed time. That means the time which is taken for this activity. So she started her work at 2 p.m. and the end time is 3:30 p.m. So what is the elapsed time? Yes, she has been there for 1.5 hours. Isn't that so? Therefore, I can say time Mrs. Pereira spent in the market is 1 hour 30 minutes. Now here comes the end of our lesson. Before winding up the lesson, I'm going to summarize the things that we have learned today. So first of all, we have learned how to represent time in international standard form. First, you have to mention hours, then minutes, then seconds. In between hours and minutes, you have to put a colon. In between minutes and seconds, you have to put a colon. You have to mention hours in 2 digits, minutes in 2 digits, seconds also in 2 digits. Then representing the date in standard form is learned. So there you have to mention year dash month dash day. So year should be written in 4 digits, month should be written in 2 digits, day should be written in 2 digits. Then we have discussed about addition and subtraction based on time. There we have learned that 60 seconds means 1 minute, 60 minutes means 1 hour, and 24 hours are 1 day. Finally, we have discussed about the elapsed time. I hope the lesson is clear for you. Hope to meet you soon in another lesson. Take care. Have a nice day.